How's it going, everyone? It's Vivi and welcome back. With Crash Bandicoot 4, it's about time now in the picture. What's the likelihood of a Spyro 4? Before I dive into this deeper, why do we even ask this question? Simple. Toys for Bob was the one that brought us Reignited Trilogy, and now they're working on Crash Bandicoot? Ever since Reignited happened, many theorized that Toys for Bob would be handling the Spyro IP from now on. But now that they're working on a sequel to Crash 3 Warped instead, then what happens to Spyro? What also caught people by surprise was the announcement of Tony Hawk 1+2 Remake in the works by Vicarious Visions. The one behind the very first Crash Bandicoot remake and Insane Trilogy. That too, people started to believe that Vicarious Visions would be the one behind Crash Bandicoot. But why? Why this sudden conclusion, you might ask, after said developer worked on a remake? Why think they're gonna produce more for that IP? Remember, there was a rumor of Crash having a 5-year plan by Activision. This was according to GBI, a licensing source book, they call it. This was back from February 2018. So automatically back then people assumed that Vicarious Visions was the team Activision would assign the Crash Bandicoot projects to. From 2017 to now, we got the Insane Trilogy, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, the upcoming mobile game, which by the way new art surfaced with Nina, and with a name change, On the Run, instead of just mobile. And now we have the upcoming Crash 4. That's 4 Crash Bandicoot projects in the span of 3 years so far, all handled by different teams: Vicarious Visions, Beanox, King, and Toys for Bob. There's one common thing 3 of these developers share: collaboration. Toys for Bob helped Vicarious Visions with Insane Trilogy. Toys for Bob also helped Beanox with CTR. Beanox is also helping Toys for Bob with Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, which got confirmed over on Twitter. They are part of the supporting team. Basically, even if Vicarious Visions made the first Crash remake, it doesn't mean Crash is solely tied to Vicarious Visions. The same applies to Toys for Bob. They are not solely tied to Spyro. The fact they're working on Crash 3's sequel is proof. Now who decides to work on what? Well, Activision assigns these projects ultimately. Maybe the dev team itself wanted to tackle Crash Bandicoot this time and they got the approval by Activision. Whatever the case is, Spyro 4, I have a feeling, will happen. The golden rule when it comes to Spyro and Crash: whatever happens to orange, happens to purple. It is also possible that Toys for Bob is still working on a Spyro sequel as we speak. Hold up, Vivi. Aren't they busy with Crash 4 at the moment? Well, yes. Don't forget, Toys for Bob is a big team. We're looking at around 180 people. And we can't forget the fact that while they were busy with Reignited, they had already started work on Crash Bandicoot 4. This was information shared by Venturebeat. In mid-2017, that's when they started to tackle Crash 4. Come to think of it, that could also maybe explain why Sanzaru was tasked to work on Spyro 3. You know, deadlines, and on top of that, Toys for Bob also working on Crash 4 behind the scenes. Maybe it has to do with that. Long story short, even if Toys for Bob is busy with Crash 4 currently, that doesn't stop them from working on Spyro behind the scenes. Heck, they're currently hiring as we speak. They keep on expanding. Also, the thing about Vicarious Visions, they're also a big studio, over 200 employees. They expanded back in late 2018, adding over 100 new workers. Some of you might say, okay, maybe this time Vicarious Visions will be working on Spyro 4. Maybe. It's Activision who decides, ultimately. Or, you know, like I said before, the team maybe asks Activision, hey, can we work on Spyro? We never know. But if I were to make a guess, seeing as how Toys for Bob is now handling Crash Bandicoot and went with the aesthetics of Spyro, I have a feeling Toys for Bob will handle Spyro 4. I could be wrong, just a guess, okay? It's just a guess. Now what I'd like to discuss a bit, the continuity. Seeing as how Toys for Bob is sticking with the true sequel of Crash 3 Warped, what about a true sequel to Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon? Yeah, we have Enter the Dragonfly. But I wouldn't be against the team, whoever it is, to take the same approach as Toys for Bob. Marketing and business-wise, newcomers are used to 1, 2, and 3, aka the Reignited Trilogy. A new game, perhaps even having the number 4 in it, I feel is the best approach at this point. Look, Crash Bandicoot 4, newcomers have played 1, 2, and 3, so for these newcomers, a sequel to 3 is very easy for them. That'll entice them to buy the game. And let's not forget the majority adore the fact it's following the classic formula while also expanding upon it. Yes, some do have mixed feelings on the designs, but in terms of visuals and gameplay, it looks dense, it looks beautiful. And most of the time reading the comments, I've heard a lot of positive things about Crash 4. And these days, dimensional travel seems to be a trend in video games. Am I crazy to think so? Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart has dimensional travel. Now we have Crash Bandicoot 4. Will Spyro 4 also have dimensional travel? I mean, if you think about it, Spyro does deal with portals. It's an easy way of squeezing in dimensional stuff as well. Toys for Bob is currently hinting at the other Crash games post-Naughty Dog era to be part of alternate timelines. And Spyro, the same thing might happen. They go with the theme of dimensional travel and call all of the other games alternate stories. But at this point, if they do that to Spyro, I feel it's gonna be too cliche. Like, yeah, Crash 4 has it, but does Spyro 4 really need it? If anything, if Spyro 4 has its own theme, simply follow the classic formula without dimensional shenanigans as well, I mean, I'm super cool with that. Bring in a new bad guy, give us the classic feel of travel, collecting gems and all that, bring in a new layer on top, and I believe many will be happy with that product. The risk is basically what, minimal? You're following the same formula, but you're simply expanding upon it, just like what they're doing with Crash 4 currently. Is it too much of a risk if they do the same for Spyro? Tell me what you think in the comment section below, alright? And yeah, if you have other things to say, don't be shy, leave it all in the comment section below. And as always, I've been Vivi, and thank you so much for watching.